Can I go to
Sure.
Syria to pick up on where we were on Tuesday with the OPCW still not having gotten access to Douma, and apparently still that situation is still the same. One, what do you have anything to say about that? And secondly, you and I had a little bit of a conversation about potential, your belief the Russians and or Syrians are tampering with any evidence of a chemical attack. Does the continued delay give you more concern that might be the case?
Yeah, so to address both your questions, we can confirm that the OPCW team has still not been able to enter Douma in Syria. It is now 12 days since the attack took place on men, women, and children, those innocent civilians in Syria. We have credible information that indicates that Russian officials are working with the Syrian regime to deny and to delay these inspectors from gaining access to Douma. We believe it is an effort to conduct their own staged investigations. Russian officials have worked with the Syrian regime, we believe, to sanitize the locations of those suspected attacks and remove incriminating evidence of chemical weapons use. We have also watched as some people have seemingly been pressured by the government to change their stories about what actually occurred that night. We have reports from credible people on the ground who have indicated that they have been pressured by both Russia and Syria to change their stories, to try to change their stories so that it doesn't appear that Russia and Syria are responsible for those attacks. We certainly know that Syria is responsible for those attacks.
Okay, so the delay then does make you increase your concern that, or not? I mean, we
Well, the delay
understand that
certainly
they were
increases
shot at.
on a few levels. One, the longer that those sites are not able to be investigated by OPCW fact-finding mission experts, the more that the evidence can certainly deteriorate, and that's a great concern to us. We also believe that it gives them additional time to try to clean up and sanitize those sites.
Okay, and when you say that you said at one point, we have also watched as people have been pressured into changing their story. Does that, is your evidence that they're attempting to sanitize the area of the alleged attack, is that also something that you have, quote unquote, watched? Which
we have
suggests
credible,
that you
we have credible information and intelligence that leads us to believe that.
Okay, and has it been successful? Do you know?
That I do not know. That I do not know. I just know that they are attempting to sanitize it.
The people who are being pressured to change their stories, who were they giving the stories to? Was that people interviewed by media or by
we've seen.
OPCW?
In fact, I've seen some people interviewed on international media. We've seen some reports run on Syrian state media, so that perhaps that's of no surprise. But just a reminder that those are that would not be a credible outlet, Syrian state media, nor would, in our view, Russian television on this matter, because they have a vested interest in making it seem like they are not responsible for the attacks.
So, sorry, this will be my last one on this. So do you believe that now with the delay that eventually, if and when the OPCW team gets in there, that their investigation is going to be necessarily compromised?
It might be. It might be.
But
that is certainly, that would be the goal of Syria. That would be the goal of Syria,
So
to compromise that information.
But are you saying then that if they go, if and when they get there and they do their tests and it turns out negative, that means that the Russians are guilty of sanitizing it? But if they get there and they do their tests and they find evidence...
That's a lot of ifs. That's a lot of ifs. They're not there yet.
But there's also a lot of ifs in the... They may be trying to sanitize, or
we believe they're trying to sanitize. We believe they're trying to sanitize.
But that's a hypothetical question too, right?
No, it's not, because we have credible information and intelligence that leads us to believe that.
Does it follow then that if and when they get there, do their testing and determine that there's no traces of sarin or chlorine, then you will conclude?
I am not a chemical expert. I'm not an expert on how long sarin and chlorine can remain on soil, on building walls, and all of that. So I'm not going to wade into that conversation.
It seems like you're setting the stage for them to get there, do their testing, find no evidence of something, and then you can then you'll be all teed up to say, well, here's proof that they tampered with
Well,
it.
we will have to wait and see, man. We'll have to wait and see. Okay?